Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. This video is about the second part of chapter number 3, Geography Drainage. So if you haven't watched the first part, the link will be in my description, so make sure that you go and check it out, because if you don't see the first part you will not understand the second part. So in my previous video I forgot to tell the definition of river system, so I am going to start with that, and the topics we will discuss today are on your screens. So let's start. A river along with its tributaries is called a river system. The major river system of Himalayan rivers are the Indus river system, the Ganga river system, and the Brahmaputra river system. So we will start from Indus river system. You make sure you note that you note these points because it will help you, because I am gonna give a ton of points. So let's start. The Indus River system. The Indus River originates from China, Tibet near Mandsaur Lake. It flows westwards and enters India in Ladakh. Several tributaries like Zaskar, Nubra, Shyok, and Hunza join it in the Kashmir region. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from mountains at Atta. The Satluj, Bias, Ravi, Chenab, and Jhelum join together the Indus River near Mithankot in Pakistan. The Indus flows southwards till it reaches the Arabian Sea east of Karachi, part in Pakistan. The Indus plain has a very gentle slope. It has a total length of 2,900 km and it is one of the longest rivers of the world. Its one-third basin is located in India and the Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. The rest in Pakistan. As per the Indus Water Treaty signed between India and Pakistan in 1960, India can utilize only 20% of water carried by the Indus River system. Punjab, Haryana, and southern and western parts of Rajasthan use this water for irrigation. So this treaty, I am going with the treaty a little bit because it may come in the exam. So the Indus Water Treaty is signed between India and Pakistan because the dam which is located on the Indus River system is located in India. So the treaty is signed, and 80% uses of Indus water is by the Pakistan, or Pakistan is using 80% of the Indus water and we are using only 20%. And if we close the dam, no water supply in Pakistan. It will be a drought. So the Ganga river system. This system starts as the Bhagirathi, headwaters of Ganga, from the Gangotri glacier. It is joined by the Alaknanda river at Devaprayag in Uttarakhand to form the Ganga. Its length is over 2,500 kilometers. At Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. The Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas. Few of these tributaries are major rivers such as Yamuna, Ghagra, Gandak, and Koshi. The river Yamuna originates from the Yamunotri glacier in the Himalayas. It flows parallel to the Ganga as a right bank tributary. It meets at Ganga at Allahabad. The Ghagra, the Gandak, and the Koshi rise in the Nepal Himalayas. These are the rivers which cause flood in parts of the northern plains each year. This causes widespread damage to life and property, but also enrich the soil for agricultural use. So the soil which is used in agriculture is khadar, as we read in the previous chapter of geography. It is very fertile and it is made by the floodplains. The Ganga's main tributaries which come from the peninsular uplands are the Chambal, the Betwa, and the Son. These rise from semi-arid areas, have shorter courses, and do not carry much water in them. So I will show you the pictures of Gangotri because I have been there. So it will give you an idea that how Yamunotri, Gangotri, these things look like, or these places look like, how it's originated. So Gangotri originated from Gomukh. That I can't go because that's a very dangerous path. The Ganga flows eastward till Farakka in West Bengal. This is the northernmost point of the Ganga. Here it divides into two branches and forms a distributary known as Bhagirathi Hooghly, also called Hooghly or what we say, which flows southwards through the deltaic plains into the Bay of Bengal. So the deltaic plains, which I am having a little bit struggle to pronounce, these deltaic plains are the deltas, the plains of the deltas which is formed by the river at the lower courses or the lowermost courses. The main stream of the Ganga flows southwards into Bangladesh where it's joined by the Brahmaputra. Further downstream it's known as Meghna. This river flows into the Bay of Bengal. The delta formed by the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river is known as the Sundarban Delta, that we all know. It is the world's largest and fastest growing delta. It is also the home of Royal Bengal tigers. The Sundarban Delta derived its name from Sundari tree, which grows well in marshland. So this is unknown to me. Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and the Ganga river system. So the water divide which we already learnt in the previous video. So the plains from Ambala to the Sundarban stretch over nearly 1800 km, but the fall in its slope is only 300 meter. In simple terms, there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 km. Therefore, the river develops large meanders. So meanders are the curves which is formed by the rivers when it can't go straight. Oh, then let me tell the definition of water divide too. So water divide is any upland which is dividing two river. Namani Namani Gange program. The Namani Gange program is an integrated conservation mission approved as a flagship program by the Union government in June 2014. The objective of this program is effective abatement or reduction of population, conservation and of the national river Ganga. So if you don't understand, that's my fault. The Brahmaputra river system. The Brahmaputra river originates in Tibet, east of Mandsaur Lake. Its source is very close to the source of the Indus and Satluj. It flows eastwards parallel to the Himalayas on reaching the Namcha Barwa mountain. The height of this mountain is 7,757 meters. It takes a U-turn and enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge. Here it is called Dhiang. So gorge is when a river curves through mountain, that is called gorge. It is slightly longer than the Indus and most of its course lies outside India. It is joined by many tributaries like Dibang, Lohit, etc. from the Brahmaputra in Assam. It carries away little silt and water from Tibet as it is a cold and dry area. Whereas in India the Brahmaputra passes through a region of high rainfall, Assam, so the river carries a large volume of water and considerable amount of silt. It has a braided channel in Assam, forming many riverine islands. Manjuli Island, the world's largest riverine island, is formed by it. Brahmaputra overflows its banks during the monsoon every year, causing severe floods in Assam and Bangladesh. Unlike other North Indian rivers, the Brahmaputra is marked by huge deposits of silt on its beds, causing the riverbed to rise. The river also shifts its channel frequently. Brahmaputra is known as Tasangpo in Tibet and Jamuna in Bangladesh. So the not second, the another topic, the peninsular river. These are the seasonal river as their flow is dependent on rainfall, as I told in the previous video. Actually, this video is already recorded, but I forgot to press the record button. These are seasonal river as their flow is dependent on rainfall. During the dry season, the large rivers even reduced the flow of water in their channel. These rivers have shorter and shallower courses as compared to Himalayan rivers. Most peninsular rivers originate in the Western Ghats and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Example, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. These rivers make deltas at their mouth. The Western Ghats act as water divide in the peninsular India. These ghats run from north to south close to the western coast. The coastal plains between Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea are very narrow, hence the coastal rivers are short. Some of the peninsular rivers originate in the central highland and flows towards the west. Tapi and Narmada are the only two long rivers which flow west and make estuaries. The drainage basin of the peninsular rivers are comparatively small in size. Excuse me. The Narmada Basin. The basin lies under the peninsular rivers. So let's start. The Narmada originates in the Amarkantak hills of Madhya Pradesh. It flows towards the west in a rift valley formed due to geological fault. On its way to the sea, the Narmada creates many picturesque locations. The marble rocks near Jabalpur, where the Narmada flows through a deep gorge, is one such example. The other example is the Dhuadhar Falls, where the river plunges or dive other steep rocks. All the tributaries of Narmada are very short in length. Most of its tributaries join the main stream at right angles. The Narmada Basin covers parts of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. The Narmada River Conservation Mission has been undertaken by the government of Madhya Pradesh by a scheme named Namani Devi Narmade. So this looks like important, so I'm gonna spell it again. Okay, Namami Devi Narmade. Okay, so today up to let me discuss the Tapi Basin too. The Tapi Basin. Tapi River originates in the Satpura ranges in the Betual districts of Madhya Pradesh. It flows in a rift valley parallel to the Narmada River, but it is much shorter in length. It covers parts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. So today up to this, because the video is getting too much long. So the part 3 will also come in one day. So live a life of purpose. Bye.